Hello and welcome to Online Card Classes Crafty Chat. In episode 21, we are chatting with Wendy Ramlakhan from Sugar Pea Designs in Orlando, Florida. Wendy's sweet Southern stamp company started in kind of an unusual way, and you'll hear about how she got her start in today's chat. Hey everyone, welcome back to Online Card Classes Crafty Chat. My name is Lydia Fiedler. I'm the community manager of SplitCoastStampers.com for my day job. And in my free time, I literally herd cats in Austin, Texas. And I blog at understandblue.com. Joining me today are Jennifer McGuire.
Hi, I'm Jennifer McGuire. I am part owner, founder of Online Card Classes, and I have my own blog, jennifermcguireinc.com. And I herd my own cats, but they are children. And that's about it.
And Christina Werner.
Hi guys, I'm Christina. I'm the other co-founder person with Online Card Classes, and I blog at kwernerdesigns.com. And I'm surprised to hear Jennifer call her children cats because she does not like cats and she's allergic to them. Are you allergic to your children?
Sometimes. I think all moms are. Any mother who is honest would say sometimes.
Yes. Well, they get feral. Children get feral sometimes, and that's
sometimes.
And our guest today, our special guest today, is Wendy Ramlakhan. Did I say that right, Wendy?
Ramlakhan.
Ramlakhan.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's the Southern way.
I was going to say, you got your cute Southern accent. And she is the owner of Sugar Pea Designs. So Wendy, tell us a little bit about where people can find you on the internet and a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm Wendy Ramlakhan. I'm the owner of Sugar Pea Designs, which is a new kind of baby stamp company. I am a mom of 4 kids. I have a 17-year-old, I have a 16-year-old, a 9-year-old, and an 8-year-old. So we have a full house. And I have a puppy, I have Bentley. So I'm pretty busy. If I'm not herding cats or kittens or then I am getting some crafty stuff together for Sugar Pea. And so I have a pretty busy schedule.
Well, Wendy, and one of your children is an aspiring YouTube star, correct? If I recall right.
Yes.
I didn't know this.
Well, she gets embarrassed over it because it was a few years back. But her, my youngest daughter, Brooke, she's now 8. But I would say when she was probably about 5, my oldest daughter, Amanda, would do videos of her lip singing to all of these, like Call Me Maybe, and they just did one the other day, and I was the only one who was allowed to see it because Brooke was horrified. But I think it was a Megan Trainor song, and they just did these. They're so adorable, and she's really, really good at it, and they just make these really cool videos. And they'll get my son involved and, doing something crazy in the video, but they're pretty cute.
It's hard for me to believe that she was 5 when she made those because they were so professional and hilarious.
They're so sweet. My dad, somehow, he doesn't know how he did it. He was just telling me last weekend. He goes, I don't know how, but every time I open up Facebook, that video comes up. And I could probably fix it for him, but he was like, no, I want to see that every day. So every single day he sees her Call Me Maybe video. And so it probably has like 1,000 more views than normal because he sees it every day.
Well, you will have to tell us if we can share a link to that video because it's one of my favorite videos. It's so cute.
So sweet. Yeah, and my son's embarrassed because in the song there's a part where it says, "Boys chase me" or something like that. So my son, who is 6 at the time, is chasing her. And this was during his I don't want to wear pants phase. So he's in his underwear. He's got a shirt on, but he's in his underwear chasing her. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe that's on YouTube.
Oh, that's so great.
I love it. It's my favorite part of the whole thing.
Well, we want to hear more of the Wendy story. So tell me what your crafty life was before you started the company?
Well, I always did a little bit of scrapbooking. And I think that's probably where most of us started. My sister took me to a Stampin' Up! Party, and I sat there. I loved everything I saw, but I was like, you have a happy birthday stamp. How many times are you going to use this? And I'm like, it's the same one. Because I'm like, I would only buy one or something. I don't know. It was awful.
Oh, I would only buy one.
Right?
Yeah, we all started with that.
And so I just thought the whole concept was foreign. And my place was scrapbooking. I felt much more comfortable there. I could buy a ton of stuff, and I felt more comfortable there. So that's what I did for years. And then when my daughter was born, I throw parties, and I would make invitations with all my little scrapbook supplies and stuff. So when my daughter was turning 1, I wanted to have a cupcake party for her. And I Googled image just cupcake birthday cards, and I don't know how, but all of these stamped images came up of birthday cards. And that right there was like angels sang, fireworks went off, and I remember sitting on the couch going, what are these things? I'm looking at my computer, and I'm going, I don't understand what these things are on these cards. Are they cutting them out of books? Because they're just so perfect. And I thought they were taking children's books or something and cutting and pasting on a card. So I started digging further and realized that these are stamped images that have been colored with Copic markers. So my husband comes home. I'm still on maternity leave. The kids are babies. They're in diapers. I'm doing all of this during nap time. And so he comes home, and I said, I need $300. And he's like, for what? I'm like, I need to buy some markers. And he's like, markers cost $300? And I'm like, they're very, very special. And I knew nothing other than I watched 2 or 3 videos, but I knew I had to have them. Of course, I didn't get $300. I got a little bit to get me started, but I bought some Copics. I bought a couple of, I think it was a digital stamp. And I just started coloring. I ruined my kitchen table because I didn't know it was going to bleed through. I mean, I'm total basic. I have no clue what I'm doing, and I'm coloring red, and it's going right through. I don't know what paper to use. So I'm like, now he comes home, and now we need a new table. I need more markers. I don't know. So I colored the same image probably 20 or 30 times just to kind of figure out what I'm doing. And then I suddenly liked what I was doing, and I wanted other people to see it. And then I realized, there are blogs for people to show their work. And I didn't even know anything about design teams. I just thought, somehow these people randomly find you. And I took a picture and did a little blogger blog. That was scary, didn't know what. And I'm like, well, what should I call this blog? And I was thinking of my own name and stuff like that. But my daughter, I would call her Sugar Pea. So I remember sitting outside with my husband, and I'm trying to type in what I'm going to call this blog of mine. And he was like, you should call it Sugar Pea Designs. And I'm like, sounds good to me. It sounds sweet and cute, and that's me. So I did. And that kind of was the beginning. That was way, way beginning. Then I would enter challenges, and people started noticing me. And then I got on a team, and I was like, oh my gosh, people know who I am, and I can get on things. And it opened up an entire world to me that I didn't even know existed. And now it's all of my world. It's almost like these are my people. I have found my people.
Well, and you became kind of a coloring expert. Your coloring is why you were on the Dirty Dozen, for sure. That's what we started to see was.
Yeah, that was like, I screamed when I got that for like 3 straight days. I'm just walking around the house, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, it was just amazing. That was incredible. Still is. It still thrills me just thinking of that. And it's an honor. I know that sounds silly. It's going to make me cry. It's an honor.
Oh, Wendy.
We get it. We totally get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a recognition for your talent and for the work that you put into something, and it's your heart. I mean, it's a tiny little piece of you that you have created, and you're putting it out there for the world to judge.
Yes.
And there are a lot of judgy people. So I think it's a brave thing to put something out there for people to say, I like it. And for the most part, everybody does. I mean, nobody says, well, that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Although there are those.
That's happened.
Yeah, it happens. But, for the most part, people are like, oh my gosh. And it's just such an uplifting. It makes you feel good every single day. It really does. And I kind of think that that's one of the reasons I just keep doing it, because it's hard work. I know you guys know it's a lot of work. And some days you just want to Netflix and for a week straight, it's like I'm so just tired. But then every single day, I mean, just the comments that people leave you and the friendships that you make through those comments and just interacting with other people all over the world. I mean, it's so cool when, I've met people from the UK and India and everything else because of this. And I wouldn't have never known those people, never in my life. And we get together and it's pretty awesome.
It is. It's awesome. And, we could use a few more things that unify everybody. And it's so fun to have our hobby do that, or actually our business now.
Right.
But it is a lot of work. And you said something that I really try to teach people, and I have the hardest time convincing people to do this in my classes and stuff that I do locally is, you said you colored the same image 20 times. That's what you have to do. Yeah, that's what you have to do to get good at it. Yeah. And it's not boring. You always learn something, but it's something that it's hard for people to take the time to do. And I think especially with coloring, you have to do that to get really, really skilled. And you're such a great Copic colorer.
Thank you. Originally, I wanted to go in that direction, teach people how to color. I was teaching in classes. Local scrapbook stores are really, really a rare breed, and I'm lucky to have one 2 hours for me. I know that sounds crazy, but in Orlando, there's like everything you can think of, and there isn't one in Orlando. So 2 hours for me is just this mega store, and they would invite me to come. MFT would invite me to come and teach in their store, and that was a great pleasure and honor to do. Kim and I became friends through that. And so it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I would have, my husband has just been so insanely supportive through all this. So he's an IT guy, so he would set up cameras and TV screens behind me so that we could show people as I'm coloring, because to him, he couldn't understand the concept of how are you going to conduct a class and you're looking at your paper, they're looking at their paper. How are they going to see what in the world you're trying to explain to them to do? You're going to have to stand over every single person. And it was just stuff I had never thought of. And he hooked it up. I mean, seriously, for the first few times he had to come with me because I was like, I don't know how to put all this together. I just know how to color. You're going to have to, wire and get everything set up and get the cameras ready. And then after a while, I got the hang of it. And me and the kids would go and they would carry in boxes of markers.
Oh, how fun. So how did that turn into a business for you? How old is Sugar Pea? Which, by the way, when I say that in my head, I say it in the most exaggerated Georgia accent you could.
Sugar Pea.
Sugar Pea.
Yeah. It's this January will be 3 years old. So that's pretty exciting. And how did it get started? I was coloring, and I love to color. And the kids my little kids are my biggest inspiration. And they would suggest, we'll color this, or wouldn't it be funny if you had a stamp that looked like this or looked like that? And I was like, gosh, it really would. That would be kind of awesome. And there weren't, the things that they were describing. And I designed for a stamp company that I was kind of their sentiment person. I don't know why. I would just get a big kick out of coming up with the sentiments for stamp sets. And I'm very punny, which is probably annoying to a lot of people, but I get a big kick out of it. I don't know. My kids think it's hilarious, so probably that's why I do it so much. But now my kids are very punny, and I don't know if that's a good thing. So,
I think it is.
well, but they come up with the most hilarious sentiments. I would say in at least one or two stamp sets of release, they have a sentiment that they have come up with in there. And
That's so fun.
so how it got started was I was coming up with all these sentiment ideas for another company, and I would get real frustrated because I would think, well, that's not exactly how I wanted that little froggy to look. And then I thought, and I was just talking it over with my husband one day, and he mentioned, well, you do it. I'm like, well, I can't draw. So, I'm fine. It was just a venting kind of situation. And then we were in the bookstore with the kids, and I was letting them pick out books, and I'm sitting there, and I love the bookstore. I love reading, but the children's section of a bookstore is like heaven. It's just so adorable. And then you have all of these books that I would buy because of the illustrations on them. And they say, don't judge a book by its cover, but I don't care what the words say. That little duck is adorable, and I'm buying that book. So I was drawn to that, and the kids were saying, oh, you could color that, Mommy. You could color that. And, the things that they were choosing. And that gave me the idea, because I had no idea where to start. And I thought, well, I can't draw. So we were in the bookstore, and I pulled out some receipt out of my purse. And on the back, I started writing down all of the illustrators' names that I loved. Then I started emailing them and asking them. Yeah, so my husband is like, oh, well, you're go big or go home. And I'm like, I didn't know any other option. I mean, I'm like, well, where is everybody? I can't draw. So where do you find someone who can draw? Hello, I'm staring at 1,000 people who can obviously draw. So, and they put their name right there for me. So, yeah. So I would start emailing people, and they were like, no, thank you. No, thank you. And, and I'm coming up with this, I'm this company, please design for my company that I didn't have. So
that's called Moxie.
Yeah. It's, what do they fake it till you make it? I mean, so I'm just telling these people, I'd like for you to illustrate for my company. And then they're like, well, do you have a contract? And I'm like, oh, like that. I'm like, oh, I don't know. So then, then I had to get into all the serious part of it. But the illustrators I have now, I adore these people. They are the most kindest people on earth. One of them told me no about 14 times.
Oh.
But I loved he was my favorite, and I just kept after him. And then to scare me, he said, talk to my agent. And it scared me. I'm like, an agent? Oh my gosh, that's serious. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm really going to do this. And so I started talking to his agent, and we made negotiations. And then suddenly I start getting all these cute little illustrations from him. And that's it. One of my other illustrators. So most of my illustrators are children's book illustrators.
Wow.
And I don't.
That's the perfect fit.
I don't know that there's any other stamp company that has children's book. I mean, they're authors. Mine is an author. my kids, their thing to brag about in school when they have the Scholastics book fair is, I know this person, I know this person. And they do, like, one of my artists does a whole series of books, and all Brooke wanted was to have an autographed copy because she has the whole collection. So she sent her the entire collection and autographed every single book.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so her teacher, like, so Brooke has all these little bragging rights when she goes to school, and she gave one to her teacher because her teacher's like, oh, I love this book too. So, but yeah, that's pretty much how I got started. And so they draw, and the kids and I come up with sentiments, and you guys stamp with them.
That is, I've never heard of a route to a stamp company like that. That's amazing. Just from the back of Barnes and Noble.
Yep, exactly. And it was Barnes and Noble. Yep.
Oh, wow, that's
awesome.
super unique and fun, and it explains the kind of whimsy that you have in your images.
Yeah, like they're just my favorite. The little cutesy stuff. I know that we don't have any really big floral things, and I know they're absolutely gorgeous and stunning, and we probably will. We do have that on the schedule to come out, but because I have to remind myself that it's not just my taste, but people tend to like what I like. So far I've just designed what I like.
Yeah, I mean, and it's that style that you look for from any stamp company. Like, oh, I love, so-and-so's flowers, and I love their critters. And
yep. We're very critter. And boy, I remember that, because I have a little son. Nathan and Brooke are only a year apart. And so he is interested in it too and wants to be a part of it. And when I would make cards, I would have to use an animal because there wasn't very many boy stamps for him. So that was another thing. If you kind of go through the Sugar Pea catalog, there are a lot of images that have little boys and little boy sets, like little froggies and boy themed things. So that way, little boys have something too.
Yeah, I remember that from the beginning, that you always had little boy themed sets.
Yeah.
So what was the challenge after you were like, you got some people to work for your imaginary company? Tell us about what happened next and what the challenges of that were.
Well, then the challenge is that, then finding out, who can manufacture these things. Oh, now my dog. He sits on a big pillow on the couch. That's he's like a cat. He's like a cat.
So but he's not.
Yeah.
He's a dog, and there's a dog on Crafty Chat. Yay!
Yes, and now, all right, maybe you won't bark now. And see, he's so cute. He sleeps all day. He is a cat. He really is. So, the challenges.
Yes, your challenges.
Then it was just, figuring out who to manufacture these things, just the ins and outs of that. Oh, so my husband, as supportive as he was, I'm like, I need to hire a graphic artist so that they can make all these gorgeous graphics and, Sugar Pea, the logo, everything. And he started laughing at me because he's in that field, and he's like, you don't have that much money. And we didn't. So he brought home a copy of Adobe Illustrator and told me to learn it. And I'm like, are you kidding? I've heard this is like the hardest thing you can ever learn. I could learn 16 languages before I could figure that thing out. And he's like, well, I don't see that you have any other option. So again, while the kids are taking naps, I'm watching YouTube videos. I tried to have a friend create the logo for Sugar Pea, and they just couldn't get it right. And I just wanted to say, if you could just do this, and so then I realized, well, then I have to do it. So I created our logo, and then that was like, all right, I think I can do this. I think I can do what I need to do. And so then I taught myself that. I think that was probably the biggest challenge. I mean, honestly, it was just that part of it. And now, you know, when I need something, it's a lot easier that I can whip it up. I know what I'm thinking that I want it to look like. But that won't always be. But it's because I'll need to pass that torch on very, very soon because we're getting very, very busy, which is good. But I'm proud that I figured out how to do that thing. I wouldn't say I've mastered it by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, I know enough to be dangerous. So.
Yeah, as a person who cusses at Adobe Illustrator regularly, I completely respect what you've done because it is very difficult.
It is.
Christina's probably laughing at us.
I love Illustrator.
Oh, yay. Well, no, I'll have to, you know, well, how do I do this? I'll have to send you little messages.
It's my favorite of all the Adobe programs. A lot of people, they love Photoshop because that's kind of what they've used first.
Yeah.
Illustrator is my jam. I love Illustrator.
Yeah. It can do some really amazing things, you know, what little I know to do, really.
I have never even opened the program.
Don't.
And I have no desire to open the program.
No need. You got all those stamps.
What?
You have all those stamps. You don't need to open Illustrator.
Here's my power. I have great friends who design great stamps.
Mm-hmm.
I will never do that.
Yeah.
You did really well on your Christmas card, though. She sent me a little image of her Christmas card that she put together, and it looked really good.
No. Remember, I started with a template from Etsy.
But you had to edit it. You had to customize
changed it, moved it around, but no, the what looked good was what I got from Etsy. I figured there are people who are good at that. And I'm not. Maybe I am, but I will never know. And I'm.
So you're telling us you're good at shopping?
No, I'm good at acknowledging that there are really talented people out there.
Well, now that's news to me. So you can buy like a Christmas photo card template on.
Yeah. Well, I figured a lot of things happened this year, like we moved and graduations and stuff. So I wanted to do like a year in review, but just like bullet point. And so there are so many on Etsy. And then I wanted to do a collage on the back. And I texted Christina and I said, how do I do that? And she's like, really, there's not an easy way. And I'm like, ooh, Etsy. You can buy a template and it tells you exactly how to drop them in.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty life-changing. That's a little
$5.
different.
$5.
$5?
Why would I learn how to do that?
No, that's worth
Forget
a
it.
lot more than $5.
Yeah, back in the day, we called that digital scrapbooking.
Yeah.
And I did lots of tutorials on that. I remember.
Well, it's going to arrive. The printed things are going to arrive today. Who knows if they'll be centered or anything, but it'll be done. I hope.
Hey, and before Christmas too.
Hey, that's it. I've never been late. I've been right up to but never late. Anyway.
Yeah, me neither. I've always made the deadline.
So Wendy, do you send a lot of Christmas cards every year?
I don't.
A lot of card makers don't.
I know. It's the shoemakers' children who have no shoes.
Yes.
And card makers' friends have no cards.
Yep.
Yeah, and I feel bad about that. There's a lot of guilt in that, but I've just had to let that go. I still get just as thrilled when I do make cards, and I do. I know that there's a lot of owners that don't because just the running the business part took over, and that's another thing I had no idea was going to happen, that the part that I love was not going to be the part that I do. And that was hard. I would say, I was just on this wave of a high of this is so exciting the first year. And then the second year, I was just sad and mad that I didn't get to create anymore. And I'm like, this is not fair. So I had to suck that up and just figure out a way to make time. And then I got interested in what I call stampy stamps because I had only colored. If you gave me an image that you put ink like green or blue or something else on, I had no idea what I was supposed to do with that. Zero. If it was a line art image that I was supposed to color all day long, I had 1,000 ideas. But stampy stamps were just beyond me. So I have learned to embrace stampy stamps, and that's been a lot of fun. So I've even just kind of grown and stretched what I can do creatively with those kind of stamps because I didn't have time to color anymore. I'm a slow colorer, and I would take an hour to color the tiniest little thing, but now I'm really fast. I don't have to feel like I need to, I don't know, when you're known for coloring,
Yeah.
there's an expectation level there that I was trying to meet every single time that now I'm like, this is good enough. and it really is. Nobody is like sitting there, like I said, I know that everybody's judging in some form, whether in their mind and they're like just keeping their hands off the keyboard or what, but it's just art. It's not life or death.
Well, you just got to get something going, like my holiday card series. If I didn't do that every year, I probably wouldn't send Christmas cards. But because I have them made and I finish it, like the second week in December, like I'm about to finish the series now, I have 25 cards already made that I can mail out.
Yeah.
So the problem is just actually mailing them, addressing them and writing the notes inside. But yeah.
Yeah, I do challenges, when we do challenges in the fall and in Split Coast, so many of them are holiday themed that I get so many cards done. But I'm a little OCD about my cards. I have to send the same one to everyone.
Me too. I am too. Like if someone got, a moose and someone else got an angel, I'm like, that just messes me up. Yeah, everybody has to get the same thing.
I love picking them out. Like I'll pick one of my cards and like, okay, who is this going to? Decide who it goes to. And it's special to like people. Probably not to that person, not as special to them, but me picking it out, like matching them up.
Yeah, that's fun.
I just found out I would do that, but it would take up way too much time, and I send too many that I was eating up so much of the holiday time doing that. And people, when you have kids, people want photos. So I always do a photo card, and I usually do something crafty with it. But this year, I may stamp a snowflake on the envelope.
There you go.
Well, hey, that's something still. I like that.
Well, once they open that up and see how busy your year's been, they're going to be like, I'm surprised she sent us a card at all.
Seriously.
I have to send one. My mama raised me that you send Christmas cards. Even to the people who will never send you one, you send a Christmas card. I don't know what it is, but it's important to me.
Yeah, to me too. And it's a gift. I consider a handmade card a gift. So it allows me to give a gift to 100 people that you would never be able to do if you had to go buy gifts for everybody.
Now, you know where I get hung up and I need to let go is I feel like the envelopes all need to be handwritten.
Oh, you got to let that go.
I know.
After I made 120 cards, I'm putting a really nice font on a label. That's just how it is.
I know. I wish
I could, though. I aspire to that. But no.
I need to let it go.
Yeah.
I get everybody helping. The whole family writes.
Oh, well,
except Lila. Lila ain't writing any of them.
Yeah.
But the rest do.
Get returned. Well, Wendy, so where are you now with Sugar Pea? Is it still just you? Where do you do your orders? How does all that work?
Well, in the time, let's see, I started Sugar Pea in 2013. And we were about to launch in January. In November, prior to January, my husband announced that we're going to sell our house.
I remember that.
I'm like, are you kidding me? So, that was when the house had to stay perfect. And I've got, Rugrats. And I'm like, trying to start a business. So it was really, really stressful. And then we moved 6 people into a teeny tiny dungeon apartment.
Oh no.
And it was gorgeous. I mean, the apartment is gorgeous, but it was situated to where it had a sliding glass door and 1 window. So everything was so dark. And I mean, it was like depressing. I was like, oh, this is just so sad being in here. So we had to keep things really, really tight, and we were all close quarters and everybody's sharing a room. And then we finally moved into our new house. And now I have what I call the store. So we've got a whole packing area. I've got my office and / studio that I create in, and it's a mess. And it's at the front of the house, and it drives my husband crazy because it's like the first thing you see when you walk in. And everybody's like, oh, wow, what is in here? Because it looks pretty amazing. However, the minute you look down, there's nowhere to walk, and you're stepping over boxes of stamps and dies and paper. And then, Lord, don't let me make a card in there because you'll.
Oh, yeah.
So
sounds like my craft room, but I'm not shipping and mailing things out of my craft room.
Well, when I was trying to find a place, should I do this in my room, in my office? Where should I do this? And I realized that before I realized that the lighting was so bad for this chat in my office, my husband walked in and he goes, "You're doing it in here? This is a wreck." I'm like, no. Just what's behind me is all they're going to see. And he almost killed himself to try and hand me something, tripping over like 4 boxes. So he's like, you really need to clean this place up. And I'm like, I can walk through here. Like the kids, I do that too. They want to come show me like their homework. And I'm like, whoa. I know someone's going to break an arm trying to get over to my desk. It gets bad. But,
hey, they knew we were arty types when they married us. They have no
Yeah. You make your own dinner, buddy. Sorry, I am making a card.
Keep them out of your room. Like no need for a lock on the door. Just put some boxes out. Like
my daughter, though, she always finds a way to get in there, and she's the tidiest, so I guess it's easier for her. But she leaves the sweetest little notes for me, and like I have a to-do list, and she would write "make things" or "you're so kind, mommy," or just little stuff like that. And it's so fun to just walk in there, that complete wreck of a place, and find sweet little notes like that from her. So yeah, I do have an upstairs area too that we do our packing and our shipping and stuff from.
So it's still a family affair?
It is. We do have a couple of people that come help us when things get kind of busy, like Black Friday and stuff like that. But yeah, my team though is amazing. I tell them every day, you're the only reason I can go to bed at night, because I know that they're taking care of things. And
yeah, you have a great team. You have a big team.
I do. My team calls me a design team hoarder because there's no such thing as, we're going to have a new term or day. You retire when you want to. And then I get excited about adding somebody new. And then it's like, we have like 15 people on the team.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
But they're all great.
They are, and I love them, and I love their passion and their commitment to just a Sugar Pea, to me as friends, and to just the stamping community in general. They're rock stars.
Or are you going to stick with stamps and dies and paper?
Yeah, we were so excited. This year we introduced our own paper pads. That was pretty exciting. So we have our own pattern paper, and we tried to do something different. And our paper pads are designed to be your card front. So an A2 card front, that way there's no cutting down. There's no scraps that always are, you gotta corral all those scraps into, how are you gonna store those? How are you gonna, keep them from being everywhere? That was a big struggle for me. So I was like, let's just make it to where they're the size of your card front. If you want to cut it down, you can. If you want to use it just straight on as your card front, put it on a base, then you've got that option. We also designed them so that they kind of have like a vignette, so to speak, so that you can just add an image or you can just add a sentiment and your card is done. I mean, it's already got a design on there for you. It's not just like a plaid pattern or a check or something like that. It's got a little scene for you, and that seems to speak to a lot of people. And
I always wondered why 6x6. So that it's so unique that you did that, because who wasn't lopping off 2 inches on one side and 1 inch on the other side? We always cut them down.
Yeah,
I could probably tell you why.
Why?
I'm pretty sure it's because of the large press sheets that they print them on.
Are a multiple of 6?
Well, if they're square, they can get them on. I mean, you can make them any dimension you want, but also people were taking their 12 by 12 papers and just reducing the size. And so if you do that, you're not losing any of the pattern. You're using the full square image.
yeah.
I take my 12 by 12 and cut it to 8 by 8, because that's the size you can make an envelope with.
Oh,
Then you have 4 and 4, which is perfect for a card front. So you almost waste nothing out of a 12 by 12 if you do it that way. And if you like to make fun envelopes, which I do. Okay, Wendy, so one last thing. This is a very exciting day in my house because there are 2 big boxes of Christmas cards getting ready to go to a nursing home where a friend of mine lives, thanks to the Caring Hearts card drive. So tell me a little bit about that and your involvement with it.
well, Vera Yates is on my design team, and she and I have been friends for years. We used to be on design teams together, and she is, along with Jennifer, they head up this card drive for nursing homes, and it just, my grandfather passed away from complications from Alzheimer's, and he lived many years in a nursing home, and that's a sad place. I mean, it can really, really be a sad place. I would remember walking in there and thinking about all the people who don't have family to visit them. And it just, I don't know, it's a sad place. But there's lots of joy there, too. There's a lot of people who do volunteer and to bring happiness to a lot of those people that have to live out their life there. And I just fell in love from day one with what they were doing with this card drive. And so Vera and Chantali and I got together and we're like, let's just create a little something that would just be part of this, that we could design that would go along with it. It would be really versatile. I pride myself on that. A lot of Sugar Pea stamps and dies and stuff are really versatile. I want it to be that you can send it for a birthday card or Christmas card. It doesn't matter. So we just kind of brainstormed for a couple of months and came up with these kindness matters and caring hearts and caring critters, because I had to have little critters. And we came up with these little guys, and I keep looking off to the side, and this is what I'm looking at. I'm sorry.
That's cute.
Like, what is she looking at over there? So I'm looking at this little guy, and this is part of the Caring Critters stamp set. Really little moose with a sunflower, and we've got, where are they? So these are the Caring Critters, and there's a lion with a heart and a monkey with a cute letter. I know this is glaring so bad, I'm sorry. And a pug, of course, because Vera loves all things pug. And so she had to have a little pug in there. And we joked that these were the most random bunch of animals ever to be in a stamp set together.
A moose and a pug? Who knew?
Yeah, and a monkey. I mean, it's like, what? But they're just so sweet. And we just love them. So we're like, let's just put them all together and call them Caring Critters. And so what we did, and I'm so excited and I'm glad you asked, because just 2 days ago, we sent off our donation to the Alzheimer's Association, and I did that in my grandfather's name. because we took 20%. I'm gonna like get all weepy here, sorry. We took 20% of all the profit and donated it to the Alzheimer's Association. So a lot of people, like, these stamp sets were received in a way that I couldn't have imagined. It overwhelmed me. I was like not expecting it at all. We struggled to get them in stock constantly because as soon as we received a shipment, they were gone. And as soon as that shipment came in, they were gone. And it was just a barrage. I mean, I had all of my manufacturers on speed dial, which I do anyway, but but they were hearing from me on such a hourly basis and giving them updates of what I needed because it was just, I need more, I need more, I need more. So people really, really loved them. And I think they loved the fact that they were helping too. And it was received so well by all of the people in the stamping community, and they just gobbled it up. And I love seeing what people are making with them. And they're just so versatile. It's not just for this card drive. The proceeds, of course, did, that's the reason that we did it. But it's they're every day, and we were so excited. We had bazillions of kindness sentiments that we had to finally just pick our absolute favorites because we just kept talking, and it was just when the world was just, there were so many ugly things at that moment when we were designing these going on, and we were all getting all teary, and we're like, the world just needs more kindness, and this is just our way of just putting a little bit of it out there and helping others to put kindness out there. And I mean, what's more kind than sending a handmade card that you put your heart and soul into, and sending it to somebody that you are thinking of to just lift their spirits and know you're thinking of them.
Well, I appreciate it, and I know the director at the facility that I'm sending the cards to is just beyond grateful and asked me to thank y'all. So thank you so much. You just think about lifting everybody's spirits on Christmas. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much for being with us, Wendy. We enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I would like another dinner with you in Florida next time we come to Florida. I miss your giggle. But tell us again where people can find Sugar Pea Designs on the internet.
We're at sugarpeadesigns.com. sugarpeadesigns.com/blog to check out our blog and our challenges and to see what all of our design team is up to.
And your awesome Instagram feed.
Oh, yep, Sugar Pea Designs. Yep, everything's just Sugar Pea Designs. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And
awesome. Well, thank you so much. And
thank you.
Thank you.
To everybody else who's watching, we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.